Hello, it's the 20th of June, which is 4 days after my top surgery. I just wanted to do a quick update before I forgot it all. I'm still a bit foggy, not so much, not from the anaesthetic I don't think, I'm just tired. It's quite a lot of effort just to keep going sometimes, I think. Okay, the day. On the day, I slept okay, stopped eating from 12 midnight on Monday the 16th, and I did sleep through until about 4:30. Had a drink of water at 5:30 like I was told to, and I wasn't too, I guess it didn't really hit me that it was really actually happening until we'd had to book in at 7:15 to the Nuffield Hospital in Brighton. And we booked in and we sat around, and I am so glad that Finn came with me, because being by yourself would be terribly lonely and boring, because the time dragged. When the nurse comes in and gave you the gown and the stockings, and when you got changed, I think that's when it sort of hit me that it was real. Bit that I was really worrying about was the time when Mr Yelland would come in and touch me and draw on me, but again he was so professional and lovely, that it was just like he was touching extra pieces of skin, which in effect is what it was, but he never once made you feel like it was anything out of the ordinary, and it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I went down to surgery about 20 to 11, and it had the most bizarre. You got it wheeled into the ante room where the anaesthetic goes, and had the bizarre conversation about my job, because obviously I work in the cemeteries, so we were talking about dying and where we'd want to be buried and ashes and cremations and stuff just before going into surgery, which is probably not one of the common conversations they have when somebody's about to go into surgery, but doesn't bother me, because as I say, death is my job. Yeah, the anaesthetic was fine. I don't mind needles, so the cannula going in was quite fun to watch. The coolness of the liquid. I haven't had an anaesthetic since I was 23, and I don't really remember much of that, so this was a new experience for me. So yeah, the anaesthetic, and your head goes all fuzzy, like pins and needles, and then you're out of it and you don't remember, and then the next thing you know you're in the recovery room. I apparently was in the recovery room about half an hour, which was longer than most guys, but I don't really remember it because most of the time I was still waking up, and so it only felt like I was out. I was there for about 5 minutes before being wheeled up. I've got this binder on. You come out with this wonderful hospital binder, and it's really tight. I mean, honestly, it's tighter than an ordinary binder, and you really can't breathe. And if you have to you have to take it off every so often just so that you can breathe. But it's squeezing it's making sure that it doesn't. I can't remember anything. My brain is still fuzzy. That it doesn't swell up, and I have noticed that when I take it off, if I leave it off for a bit longer, it does certainly start swelling, so I'm keeping it on. But it's awesome, it's so flat. Right, let's go back to a timeline before I forget. So Monday night, so Finn stayed until about 7, I think. Food, I had some food. Yeah, it was wonderful. I had no pain when I came back, and I thought I would. I thought I'd be in a lot of pain, but I didn't have any pain until around well, it probably was about 7ish when suddenly it got worse. I mean, what they'd been doing was they'd keep topping up my pain meds, and so I was under the illusion that I didn't have any pain, and actually what it was, the pain was there, but it was just being masked. So, and then when the pain started, I didn't react quick enough because I thought I didn't realise it was pain, and so I left it too long, and then it got excruciating, and then I had to have liquid morphine, which is brilliant stuff and works very, very quickly. But probably if I'd have been more savvy and a bit more intelligent, I would have just requested more pain relief quicker. However, that came and went. They put antibiotics into your cannula, which they say, for some people this might sting a bit. Sting a bit is an underestimation. It hurts. Probably hurt more than my chest did at the time. So the second lot of stuff they did in 3 o'clock in the morning woke me up for all the, you're permanently attached to to a blood pressure monitor thing that does it every 15 minutes and automatically, and then your temperature, they come in every half an hour or so at the beginning, and then it carried on throughout the night. So I went to sleep around about 10 and then was woken up about 3 for another set of or another dose of antibiotics, which this time they went through as a drip, which I was very pleased with, because it was like a drip of stinging rather than a constant sting, and it was more than a sting. It really, really hurt, and I still, even today, 4 days later, I still have the yellow you can't see it on the camera, but it's still quite bruised around there where the hole, that's the hole where the cannula went in. That was the most uncomfortable. And so I came home. It was on the Tuesday, around about 11 o'clock. We got a friend to take me home. That wasn't very comfortable. I sat on the back of the car with a pillow across my chest and the seatbelt across that. It wasn't too bad going straight, but round the corner did hurt a bit. But nothing. It was manageable. I thought it would hurt a lot more. The first day went very, very slowly, but didn't really hurt. I continued on the regime of taking the pain meds every 4 hours. So I'd take paracetamol every 4 hours, and then every 2 hours from that, so every 2 hours I'd take something, codeine, and then paracetamol. And I did that for about a day, and then sort of weaned off the codeine for a bit more. So actually I haven't taken any codeine at all today. Wednesday was a nightmare. I think because I felt so well on Tuesday, and I was probably walking around and reaching stuff and doing stuff and being a lot more mobile, and suffered for it on Wednesday. Wednesday was the worst day that I'd had up till then. It hurt a lot all the time. I took every dose of codeine that I was able, and every dose of paracetamol. And yesterday I slept a lot more, which meant that I was a lot more still and therefore didn't have so much pain. So probably the secret is, although you do need to move around, is to try and sleep as much, and then you don't need to take the painkillers because it doesn't hurt so much. Today has been much, much better. I haven't really had any serious pain. It's uncomfortable. Feels like an elephant sitting on my chest. It's bruised and tight and pricking. I think it's pricking where the staples have gone into the nipples, but it's not pain where I had on Tuesday. I'm now on my own. Well, I've got my son upstairs, but he hasn't spoken to us once. And I don't really know what I'm doing with myself now. I feel quite lonely, you know, and it had to happen at some point. You know, I'm not, because Finn stayed with me until today, and whether he stayed with me for 2 weeks or stayed with me for 2 days, there would have been that point when he went home. So it probably was about the right time to go. But I'm missing him. I'm missing company. I don't really know what to do myself. Did feel a bit tearful earlier on, where I just felt, I don't know why I felt tearful, but the answer when you're feeling in pain, and when you're feeling tearful, and when you're waking up in the morning thinking, oh God, I've got another day like this, is to go to the mirror. The mirror has been the best tonic ever. It's better than pain meds. You just go to the mirror and look at your chest and go, yes. It's the answer to everything. This is why I'm doing it, and I can go through anything because I'm flat. I have, you know, even if it's covered up under a binder and under bandages, I can still already tell that it's flatter than it ever was with a binder, and it's awesome. I can't wait for the reveal next Thursday. But yeah, my top tip of surviving top surgery is invest in a full-length mirror. and don't be afraid to ogle at yourself every 2 minutes, because it's awesome. It's awesome. It definitely is the right decision, even when you're hurting and tired, and it's still, I look at it and think, yeah, that's what it should have been. That's awesome. It's absolutely awesome. Right, before I gush too much, 12 minutes, yeah, I think I'm going to stop. I'll update you more when, in a few more days' time, and I shall go and take some more painkillers, because moving around is hurting. Yeah, I just want to say so much thanks to Finn, and if you've got somebody to take with you, do so, because I tell you, the other thing that Finn did was I didn't have to think about what time I was allowed to take the next painkillers, and I couldn't think of time, and I didn't have to think about food either. Alright, that's my phone. I'm going. Bye.